Holy cow. I've got everything. I've got everything I need to do this build. We're not even going to talk about the vehicle right this second, because I'm not doing it in my truck. I'm not doing it in the Fit. Got a whole new vehicle for this build. Show you guys that in a minute. We'll start out with the battery. This right here is an 80 amp hour LTO lithium bank. This is the 16 amp hour cells that are marked 18 amp hour. So it's actual 80 amp hours. That's 16 amp hour cells. But I have another bank that's it's actual 90 amp hour cells, a 90 amp hour bank, and it was built with the 18 amp hour cells. And so I'm going to take that 90 amp hour bank and this 80 amp hour bank. The 90 amp hour bank is in the truck at the moment, but they're both lithium LTO banks, and I'm putting both of these banks in the build. So I'm going to have 170 amp hours of LTO lithium in this build. Start with the head unit here. Just a cheap Pioneer singled in head unit, just something with a decent signal. That's all I really care. For starting with DSPs, we are going to go with this Rockford Fosgate 360.3, 8 channels in, 8 channels out, digital signal processor. I have all of the wiring and cables and stuff that goes with the 360.3. I have the Rockford knob that controls it, and I also have the Bluetooth dongle right here for it. So this is a really nice setup. That's going to be for the mids and highs. The Rockford DSP is. It's gonna control all the mids and highs. For the subs, we're going to be using this PRV DSP. It's a 1 channel in, 4 channel out, or 8 channels out, but there's only 4 channels of control. But it doesn't matter. It's just for the subs anyway. I don't even need that many. So moving to, we'll go to the amps. This beautiful bad boy right here. This cabin 4. This is a brand new amp. I ordered it brand new from Audio Apex. I just love this amp. Look at this thing. Look, it's got Tiffany style RCAs, metal potentiometers, a beautiful heatsink. It's a beautiful amp. I love it. And they do good power. They do really good power. This amp, I believe, is going to be on, I'm not sure. It's going to be either on my 8s or on my highs. I'm not quite sure. Probably just on my 8s. No, yeah, this is going to be on my 8s. This is going to be, well, one of these, probably this one, is going to be on my highs. The highs don't really need a whole lot of power at all. They need very little power, actually. The tweeters and the horns. So I'll probably use this Sound Digital 1200.4 Evo. I got this used from a buddy of mine. Shout out Peyton at Goldmouth Audio. And so I did some work on Peyton's truck, and got this amp out of him as part of the deal. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use the Sundown 500.4 for, but I got it. I bought this amp. Out of all the amps sitting here, I had this one first. And then this one was on sale, I think. And I picked this one up. And both of these actually came from Peyton's truck. Both of these did. I was going to use this one on the tins, but I don't want to have to build an enclosure that has two separate chambers because this has different channels on it, so it's essentially two different amplifiers, so you can't really run all the subs on both the different sides of the amps in one shared chamber. You can, but you have to gain match it, and I don't want to have to do that. I'm already going to have to gain match my sub amps. But anyway, so it'll just be easier to have just this mono amp in here. I think this is a 1700 watt PRV. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, A1MH Nano amplifier, one channel, mids and highs, 1 ohm model. So that should power the tins pretty good. Being as it's a mono amp, I can build a shared chamber enclosure and not worry about anything. So, but if it ends up not being enough power, I'll just end up splitting the chambers and run something like this or something else. I'm not quite sure, but either way, I got power on tap. I forget how much this puts out. This is like 1800 watts, close to 2000 watts, something like that. I forget. This is a 2000 watt amp. This is a 1200 watt amp, 1700 watt, I believe, and the subs. The subs are going to run off of these bad boys. I have 3, just to start out with. I'm going to run 3 of these Smart 5 amps. See? 1, 2, 3. I actually have one of these in my truck currently, and it's a monster. These are monster amps. They really put out the power. So we're running a set of subs on each amp. So 2 subs each amp, half ohm each amp. There are 1 ohm minimum amps. You really should get the Smart 5 base if you're going to be running like half ohm instead of the Smart 5. But I've run my other one at low impedance already, and it did it just fine. These things are regulated in a way where they don't allow themselves to produce. Let's just say it's really, really hard for me to push my amp into clipping in my truck, and I can turn it up where I know very well it's close to its limit, but it just doesn't go there because you can hear it dialing back. Let's just say I play, when I'm metering at the competition, I play a sine wave, a frequency tone, and it's constant. And so it's because that's constant and unchanging. And when I'm turning up the gain knob, the bass knob, when I'm metering, when I get to the limit, I can hear the amp actually dial back the power, and that plays through to the speakers. The speakers make this wow, 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 wow sound. It's not a very violent sound. It's not like gonna damage anything, but it's noticeable, and you can hear it. You can hear the amplifier dialing back the power when you reach that limit with these things. And so because of that, and that amp is wired at less than 1 ohm, by the way, and I compete with it. And so because of that, and because I have experience with them, I decided to run these at a half ohm. I do not recommend doing that. So just so you guys know, don't follow my lead. Don't run your Ter amps below its rated impedance. Don't do it. So with that disclaimer out the way, I'm running 3 Smart 5s on 615s at half ohm each. All high quality Audio Legion RCAs. Now these things are nice. I'm going to take one of them out the box here for you because these things are really nice. Metal ends on these things with the braided cable or coated cable, whatever you want to call it. They're triple shielded, pure copper. They're great RCAs for really cheap. So got the Audio Legion RCAs, a couple of 17 foots and some 3 foots. I also have some other custom made jumpers that I'm going to be using too. I'll pull those out in a second and show you guys. So power wire, ground wire. This is 2-aught oxygen-free copper welding cable. See right there, 2-aught Timco Easy Flex welding cable. So this is great stuff. I use this on all my builds. So I just, all this stuff right here I've collected over a long period of time. Like this amp, I bought this amp well over a year ago, like a long time ago. I just been collecting this stuff. Those speakers I just got like a few days ago. But anyway, so what I would do is I would just, take a little bit of my extra money from a paycheck and I would buy a roll of wire here and a roll of wire there. And, a couple RCAs here and there. Find stuff on sale when it went on sale and I would scoop that up. And so over a long period of time I built this stuff up, but I haven't really been telling everybody about it. If you know me, if you're close to me, if you know me in real life, then you know about it. But if you don't, then you don't. So just in case you guys are wondering, I don't have money like this. This is a long time coming for me, and I've worked really, really hard to get this stuff gathered up and saved up and to be able to do this. And with the help of some really, really good friends, by the way. Haven't done it all on my own. I've worked my butt off, but I've had some help from some really good friends in the industry to help make this happen. So we've got oxygen-free copper 8-gauge sky-high speaker cables here for the subs. So this is all the speaker cable. This is 2 dual run speaker wire, whatever you want to call it. I don't know when I picked this up, but I think I seen it on sale, so I scooped it up. And then I got these 2 runs somewhere along the line. Like I have had these for almost a year. So I just been collecting this stuff up. This is 12-gauge speaker wires for the 10s, and this is 14 gauge for the highs. So that pretty much does it for the wiring. The vehicle already has the main runs of power wire in it. So this wire right here is just to go from the battery bank there, which is, I'm going to show y'all in a few minutes where that's going to be at in the vehicle. But this power and ground wire is just to go from the battery bank to the amplifiers. So that's out of the way. Now the speakers. The speakers in this build, as you can already see from the video so far, are all Savard speaker systems speakers. 100% of the speakers in this build are coming from Savard speaker systems. I love these speakers. I love this company. I've used the high Qs. I've used the wraps. I've sold the high Qs and wraps to my friends and teammates. I've really beat the snot out of them in competition. And I just can't say enough good about the company and the products. So this sub here, as you can see, it's got terminals on it already. This one does not. This sub I've already hooked up, and you guys have seen this sub playing in the fit. I stuck it in there to start breaking the subwoofers in. After I make this video, I'm going to stick this subwoofer in the fit and start breaking it in. And put this one back in the box. And over the course of the build, I'm just going to do that. Put each sub in the fit for a couple of weeks and break it in. And by the time I'm done building the Jeep, all of my subs should be fairly well broken in. And I don't have to worry about not getting accurate tuning because my subs aren't broken in when I'm dialing in the Jeep. Because keep in mind, oh, I just gave it away. Oh, dang it. But this is going to be a competition build. So I'm going to be going through this build with you guys and doing the testing and tuning with you guys to the best of my ability, because, you know, like I always say, I'm filming this by myself. I don't have a extra set of hands to hold cameras a lot of times, so I'm gonna get the most I can on camera for you guys, and bring you guys along this build with me the whole way. I've already done work to the build that I didn't get on camera, and I'm sad about it, but it is what it is. I just now acquired the rest of the stuff to do the build, so I have 100% of everything that I need to get it done, and so that's why I'm making this announcement. That's why I've decided to make this video, because of everything here. So 6 high output 15s. These suckers are 2,000 watts RMS each. They have a 300 ounce motor, a 3-inch voice coil. They have close to 3 inches of X-Max. They have a ton of travel. It's a crazy amount of travel. They move like nothing else I've ever had. And I know they've got crazy big sundown subs out there and stuff that move like that, but these were a lot cheaper than those sundown subs. I'm just going to say that. Y'all can go look them up yourself. And they're monsters. So, 615s. Now, this build I want to be an all-around build. I want it to have everything. This is why I say this is kind of my dream build, because I've always had, for lack of a better term, half-assed builds. Even my truck sitting out in the driveway is the best build I've ever had, but it's still lacking in mid-bass. It really doesn't have a lot of mid-bass. It has decent highs and mids for the level that it's at, but not a lot of mid-bass. So I made sure when planning this build that I included mid-bass, and there's a clear focus on mid-bass in this build. So for the mid-bass, I'm using the Savard Pro Series 10-inch drivers. These are the single 4-ohm drivers. So I have this amp. That's why I decided to not go with this amp, I think. Maybe I decided to go with that amp. I'm not sure. Yeah, this amp is going to be for the 8s, because they are a 4-ohm driver. And I wanted to get as much power out of the amp as I could. This is a 2-ohm per channel amp, so I can run 2 8s on one channel and get full power out of one channel, because it'll be 2 ohms. So I'll have spare channels on that amplifier when it's all done and over with, but I can use those for maybe like a future stunt wall or something stupid like that. Not really a fan of stunt walls, but we won't get into that right now. So mid bass, we have the 10s. That's going to be on the PRV. The 4 ohm woofers together will be a 1 ohm load on the PRV. So I should get pretty good power for the 10s. The 8s here, like I said, I want to run those on the cab M4 because it has, I think that cab is going to have really nice sound quality, and like I said, I'm going to be able to get really good power out of that amp for these drivers. And if I end up needing more of the 8-inch drivers along the way in the future, or add more to the build, I'll have spare channels on this amplifier to do so. Moving to the horns. So mid-range horns here, full range horns. Let's see if this thing will focus. There we go. 8 ohms. Don't really need a lot of power for these things. Gonna stick those on the Sound Digital, probably, and the tweeters will probably also go on the Sound Digital, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I'm still flip-flopping back and forth between these two amps because the Sound Digital is a proven amp. I know it's a good amp. It was in my buddy's build for a long time, and he's never had an issue with it. I've heard horror stories about these amps. Keep in mind, this is a brand new amp that's been sitting in a box in my dining room for a long time and probably doesn't even have a warranty anymore. So if I hook it up and it goes up in smoke, or in a few months it goes up in smoke, you know, it is what it is. Whatever money I paid for this thing is gone. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm just kind of scared of it, but I don't want to sell it and have it go up on smoke on somebody else, so I'm going to have to use it. So we'll see. I may use it. I may use that one. We'll see what I go with. I don't need that much power for those. I don't. So whatever it is going to be turned way down. Oh, this thing is horrible at the focus. So that's the amplifiers. That's the speakers. 6 15s, 4 10s, in an enclosure for mid-bass, 4 8s in the doors for mid-range. We got full range with the 2 horns. So I just got one of them out of the box. So I got the 2 horns, one in each door. These things are monsters. Look at these horns, man. These are crazy. They're so heavy. They're so heavy. Compression driver. Yeah. 100 watts. So I don't even need that much power by a long run. But I got it. And so I've got 4 of these little tweeters for the highs. Oh, sorry about that. Had a camera malfunction. But anyway, got the little 4 ohm, 100 watts RMS tweets. 4 of those. There's 2 of those in each door. So 2 horns in each door, or 2 tweets in each door, 1 horn, and 2 8s. And then the 4 10s are going to go in an enclosure behind the 2 front seats, built into the loading wall. So here is some of the jumper wires I'm going to be using to jump between like the sub amps and stuff like that. It's just, you know, they're single jumpers. So yeah, 2 of them will go for the sub amps, and the other 2 will use on something else. I don't know. Like I said, I've collected this stuff over such a long period of time. Over that period of time, I actually forgot that I had some of the stuff that I had. So, you know, I've got more than I need of some things. But that's okay, as long as I got what I need. let's go see the vehicle. No, it's not another Ram, but it is a Jeep. This is the next build vehicle. It is a 1997 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. Yeah, Laredo. It's got four-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive works flawlessly. It has wheels off of a newer Jeep Wrangler Sahara on it, like a 2018 or something like that, and it's got hub adapters on it. I don't know if you can see the hub adapters back there, but yeah, so the wheels and tires aren't my favorite, I guess. They're okay compared to what was on there. There was some like 15-inch wheels on there before, but somebody before me put a lift kit on this Jeep and then put some little tiny factory tires. As a matter of fact, this is them. Little factory tires that were on it. The tires are in decent shape, but they just looked real goofy. So, oh, excuse me. So anyway, I got those cheap on Marketplace and I threw them on there. The Jeep runs. It's got some issues. It's got some character, we'll say, to this fender. But I got another fender also sitting right there. Oh, back it up, right there. So, as far as the body goes, I guess this fender is really the extent of it. Oh, let's see if I can get up here. It has sunroof in it when I got it, and I deleted it. I got this Jeep for like $1,000, like $1,000. And I got it so cheap because it had a sunroof, and the sunroof was leaking in it for a while and absolutely destroyed the interior. And so, you know, I don't need an interior. We don't need them things where we're going. But so right before the guy sold it to me, well, not right before. If I can, he put a new engine in it. This is a brand new crate engine. It's a 4-liter inline 6. This engine has it has less than 50 miles on it. Like, it's new. The guy I bought it from was a co-worker of mine. He bought the Jeep cheap because it had a blown engine and a ruined interior. He put an engine in it. He wanted to give it to his son. He drove it home to give it to his son, and his son didn't want it because it had a trashed interior. So he drove it back to the shop where we worked, and he parked it, and it sat there for about a year until I bought it from the guy. So, I mean, the engine was put in, driven about 15 miles, and then parked. And then I got it. So, since I've gotten it, I've hardly driven it at all because I only bought it for the project. So it's literally got less than 50 miles on this engine. You know, it's got a brand new computer in it. Shortly after I got it, I went to drive it one day and it didn't start. So it ended up being the computer was bad. So we got a new one of those, and we have an Autotech 320 amp high output alternator. Oh, I'm sorry, not a 320 amp. This is a 410 amp alternator. The truck has a 320 amp. So yeah, this is an externally regulated alternator. And I have set the regulator to charge at 15.6 volts. So the alternator's already been installed. The regulator is already hooked up and everything. The regulator is inside the vehicle, and I guess we'll show you that now. So I've already done work on the interior, keep in mind. There's the regulator right there. So it's just a blue box adjustable regulator. Got it from Autotech also. So it's all set up and it's charging it at 15.6 for that LTO bank that's inside. But I've started the wooden floors and I've done the roof. So far there are 3 layers, well, 2 3/4 layers of 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. Let me see if I can zoom. Yeah, see them layers? That's not Lowe's birch, that's Baltic birch. There's 3 layers minus this little section right here. There's 3 layers of birch, 3/4 inch on the ceiling. On the floor there are 2 layers. This is 2 layers of birch on the floor. It's screwed in with PLX adhesive, Loctite PL3X adhesive, and Type Bond wood glue. I usually use the 3, but when I went to go get more 3, see it's almost out. All they had was 2, so I had to get a jug of 2. So, but I usually use the 3. It's not really a big difference. It's a difference in cure time and work time, but both of them are good. Both of them will hold strong. So back to the Jeep. So not only is it 2 layers, but I'm going to be doing another layer on the floor. There's going to be 3 layers on the floor minimum when I'm done. And the transmission tunnel will be coated in birch and everything. Everything's getting coated in wood. The door panels are getting done in wood, front and back, everything. The walls of the Jeep are getting skinned. You see, like I skinned the floor. Let me see if I can zoom out. There's no zoom out on this thing. Anyway, so no, that's in, way in. I skinned the floor in plywood. So this plywood is attached directly to the floor pan of the vehicle. There's no gaps between it, no gap underneath, nothing like that. So it's bonded with PLX. And then there's wood glue between the layers with PLX around the edges of the layers to bond each layer to the steel around it, while the wood glue bonds it to the wood underneath it. So you see all the would be gaps. That PLX, it expands as it cures, and that stuff fills any would be gaps, and I have to cut it off. If you can see, I've already cut this stuff down with a hammer and chisel, a sharp chisel. But yeah, so there's going to be another layer going on the floor up there, and then I've got probably 4 layers of birch going on the floor in the cargo area. This back, there's going to be a back wall back here straight across the back of the Jeep, all the way across the back of the Jeep. That wall is going to be 2x4s. It's going to be 2x4s placed vertical like this, up and down, stacked face to face. So the largest flat side of the 2x4 will be facing the next 2x4, and so those 2x4s are going to be sandwiched by a layer of birch on each side. So it's going to be 3.5 inches thick of solid 2x4s with another 1.5 inches of birch. So it's going to be 5 inches solid of wood that's going to be making up the back wall of the build. The same thing goes for these 2 doors here, because this is a B-pillar wall. So these 2 doors, when you open them, there's just going to be wood here. You're going to be looking at the side of the wall, and it's also going to be stacked 2x4s face to face, sandwiched by birch. So yeah, I'm going to have an enclosure that goes across from one side to the other in front of the loading wall, or as part of the loading wall, for the tins. But that's it. I mean, it's going to be a 6th order, walled enclosure, built to be as loud as possible while staying below, at or below 30 hertz. I want my tuning frequency to be as low as possible. We'll say around 30 hertz, but I really want to hit 160 dBs. With 615s and the amount of power that I'm going to be running, I really should be able to hit 160. Look at that kerf. I've kerfed this wood when I put it in. The driver floorboard looks pretty good too. See, I don't know if you can see the bend in the wood on camera, but it came out really nice. And so the wood goes all the way up underneath the dashboard and the full board, behind the pedals and everything. I mean, this thing is going to be solid. I believe I'm probably going to make it a negative ratio, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't nailed down a design on the enclosure yet. I'm waiting to see exactly how much space I end up with to work with before I nail down an exact design with parameters. So right now I just have to get wood in this thing, guys. I just have to get working and stop videoing, I guess. But that's it. 6 Savard not Ho 15s in a 6th order wall, a 97 Jeep Grand Cherokee with a lot of lithium, great electrical system, and a completely wooden interior. Let's make this shit happen.